Big update here this morning on a Channel 3 exclusive. We've been reporting extensively on the disastrous conditions at the concierge apartment complex in Rocky Hill after multiple pipe bursts in the cold weather.
And now Connecticut's Attorney General is stepping in, demanding immediate action. Your reporter Roger Susannon is live in Rocky Hill. Roger, is this something the AG typically does?
Good morning, ladies. The truth is, this is a very unusual situation. In fact, I can't remember many instances like it. I've been doing this for quite a while at this point. Now, at this point, what happened is that after multiple people complained to Channel 3 in stories that aired on WFSB, the Attorney General stepped in and essentially wrote a letter to the owners of the concierge apartment complex saying, if you don't fix these issues, you could face very serious consequences. Now, this whole problem and series of problems began during this most recent cold snap when multiple pipes burst. And at one point, more than 300 residents lost hot water for several days, more than a week, many of them say. And they tell Channel 3 that the owner of the apartment complex, JRK Property Holdings, didn't provide any guidance or solutions until more than a week had passed. And at that point, they were offered stays at nearby hotels. But Attorney General William Tong says that's simply not good enough. In a letter, he demanded that the owners reimburse all of the tenants for lost lodging and provide prorated rent and utilities, and also, and this is important, allow residents to break their leases if they want to. One victim who lives at the concierge apartments with his wife and baby says that the way they've been treated is simply unacceptable.
This is an essential commodity that all people have the right to, especially if you're paying over $2,000 a month.
Now, by the way, the owners of the concierge apartment complex responded after Attorney General Tong sent that letter, and they essentially said that they are working to fix these issues and address all of these concerns. Of course, we'll keep you posted on whether or not that actually happens. Reporting live in Rocky Hill, I'm your reporter Roger Susannon, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.